Hello everyone, D Forte here. Today I'm going to show you how you can copy files out of a DOS virtual machine from VMware back to your normal Windows computer, Windows environment. And we're going to do this using a method that will work no matter what kind of hard drive setup you have and no matter how long you've had your DOS virtual machine. All using free software. So the first one we're going to be using is called CloneDisk, and this particular version is 2.3.3. So what we're going to do is come over here on the bottom right and click on Virtual Disk, and then we're going to do Make a Raw Disk Image. And this is going to be the size of the hard drive that you're going to be creating inside the VMware to copy files to. Now you need to choose where to put it, of course, and in my particular case I'm putting it on an external USB hard drive I have in a folder called Virtual Machine Drives. Doesn't matter where you put this, you just have to have enough space. And again, it can be a USB drive even though DOS has no ability to access it. Or it could be a flash drive, it could be your regular internal hard drive, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to call this DOS drive copy out. It could be any file name you want. Just make sure you end it with .img. And it's set right now for 1 gigabyte. That's why it's 1024 megabytes. You could put that to whatever you want. And we're just going to hit Make, and that part's done. Next, what we're going to do is convert the raw to VMDK/VHD. Now you could have done that with checking that box on the previous dialog, but this is a way to do this if you want to get an existing raw image file into DOS or out of DOS. So what we're going to do is pick our file. There it is. We hit Make. And then it asks you where you want to put the output file. Just put it in the same folder. What I do is put star.star, show the image file, and then at the end I just put VMDK like that, just to avoid a little confusion and have the same file name. Okay, so we're done. We are now done with this tool, so we can close it. Next, you'll start up your VMware, and I have a virtual machine here with DRDOS 6 inside it. And so what we're going to do is edit the settings on it, and we're going to be adding a new hard drive. So normally you'll probably only see one hard disk here, but my setup happens to have two. Okay, so next you pick hard disk. IDE is what you want, and then we're going to say use an existing virtual disk. You browse to the file, and I have it under virtual machines right there. Finish. And this, it depends on what you're wanting to do, but I usually hit convert. That doesn't really matter too much from what I've seen. And then we say OK. Now I'm just going to go back in to see which hard disk it was assigned to. It says hard disk 2 in my case, and you can see it's pointing to the virtual disk file right there. Okay, so now we have an unformatted virtual disk. So now all we need to do is start our virtual machine and boot into DOS as normal. Again, in my case, I'm using DRDOS 6. Okay, now the next thing is we need to fdisk this new virtual disk. I already have another hard disk, as you may recall from my settings there. That was my D drive. But we need to find and assign a drive letter, format it, this new virtual disk. So what it's saying is when I went into fdisk, it says the second hard disk has sector 0, no boot sector. Do you want to initialize it? This is just DRDOS's FDisk. If you use MS-DOS, it may be different. But somewhere in here, you can select the disk to work with. So right now, it's showing we're pointing to my hard disk 1, which is my C drive. I do not want to be messing with that one. So in DRDOS's case, there's a select alternate fixed disk, which is option 4. I hit that. It shows me the next one. Again, this is not the one I'm wanting to deal with because it already has a drive letter assigned. This is the other hard disk I had in there, which showed as hard disk 3. DOS is treating it differently. It's thinking it's the second one. So once again, select alternate physical disk, and then here we go. You can see it's showing roughly 1024 megabytes. You know, it's not exact, but this is our 1 gigabyte virtual disk. So now we're going to hit 1 to create a DOS partition. Hit 1 again to create the primary. Say yes, we're going to use the entire disk. DRDOS does its thing. Asking for a label. I'm going to call this export disk. Okay, so as you can see, it's now drive letter E. So we're going to exit. We need to reboot. And here is our virtual disk. It is formatted. There's nothing on it. So what I'm going to do, just to show you, to copy a file out, let's find a game or something on here. So I have MountImg. I'm going to copy that to this disk. Let's make a folder called MountImg. And at this point, we've got everything set. It's now up to you to know how to do DOS commands to copy files out. What I'm going to do is change to that folder, and I'm going to copy everything to this folder. Okay, so now if we do a directory listing, you see all the MountImg files have been copied to this virtual disk, which has now essentially been exported. That's it. So now what we're going to do is shut down the virtual machine. Shut down guest. Are you sure you want to power it off? Yes. And now when I browse this folder inside Windows, you'll notice my files aren't there. All I have still is the raw image file and the associated virtual image disk. That's okay. The next software we're going to use to get the files out is called ImDisk. So what you'll do is you'll right click after you've installed ImDisk, and we're going to say mount as image ImDisk virtual disk. This will appear as a context menu when you install the software. Okay, so here's what the dialog looks like. And what you can do is just choose what drive letter you want it to be assigned to in your Windows computer. And just go with the defaults if you want. Hard disk is good. If you want it to be read-only so you don't modify anything there, you can check that box. Otherwise, you can actually get things into the virtual machine this way as well, because not being read-only, I can copy files into here and they'll then appear in DOS. So let me go ahead and hit OK. And as you can see, here's our U drive with Windows, and there's the MountImg folder files. So now you could just simply copy this to somewhere else on your PC and be good to go. So I hope this tutorial has helped you to be able to copy files in and out of a DOS virtual machine using VMware, and I'll see you next time.